Good evening everybody and welcome to the review of WWE SmackDown 29th of August 2025. So this is the last episode before Clash in Paris. It's live from Lyon in France, so let's see what it brings. The show opens with Logan Paul coming out and addressing the audience. Now, I've said that I do like Logan Paul a lot, or at least the character that he plays. I find him amusing, but I did find him a little bit on the whiny side this evening, and not quite on the level I usually enjoy. So, for the second week in a row, at the very least, we get John Cena and Logan Paul in the ring having an argument, talking about who is better, what respect means, all that sort of thing, who's a parasite, who isn't, and that's pretty much it really. So it's just a last bit of build-up before Clash in Paris, and it takes quite a lot of time, I find. So I've said before, I'm not overly interested in this rivalry. I think it's just there to give Cena something to do before Brock Lesnar comes in, but there we go. So hopefully we'll get a good match on Sunday, even though I think I know what is likely to happen. First backstage segment, and it's the Street Profits having an interview. Now they're going to be in a #1 contenders match against Carmelo Hayes and The Miz. The winner will obviously compete for the tag team titles. So I personally feel at this moment that it's more likely Carmelo Hayes and Miz are going to win it, as I feel like we've been building towards that. However, if Miz attempts to take the credit again, then it could backfire on this particular occasion. It will be interesting if we do get the Street Profits involved in the tag team title race again. They've never wanted to be out of it, but there have been a lot of teams involved. It was them who lost it to the Wyatt Six, and we'll see if they get any luck tonight. First match of the night, and Alexa is back, much to my delight. So she comes out with Charlotte, ready to defend the tag team titles, and the Secret Service decide that they want to attack and get a head start, which costs them the title match. Great job, girls, honestly. Anyway, it turns into a one-on-one match between Alexa Bliss and Chelsea Green. The match is okay, a little bit on the slow side, but some good moves, and I did like the way it ended with them attempting to reverse each other, and eventually Alexa gets the win. Now, I thought Chelsea looked relatively good in the ring during this particular match. Sometimes she's used for comic relief, well, most of the time, based on what I have seen, and it was nice to see her get a few moves in during this particular match. Now, following it, her and Alba Fire try to attack Alexa. Charlotte hobbles down on one leg, having been attacked earlier, in order to help, but the team of Chelsea Green and Alba Fire is a bit much for them in the end, and they do come off the more dominant. So we're obviously actually going to get the tag team title match at some point. It's good for making them look like a realistic threat. However, the dirty heel tactics make them look slightly weak as well, but a reasonable start to the in-ring action. Up next, it's another backstage interview, and this time it's with Sami Zayn. And there's really not much to say about it. He's asked about the championship match. He says he's looking forward to it. He feels great, and then says something in French. That's about it. There's not really any more I can say. But he is going to have a United States Championship match. I will be surprised if he wins, but that is to come later in the episode. After a little video of Aleister Black talking about Damian Priest, we have an interview with Damian Priest where he simply says he wants to be me, he's not me, and I'm gonna show him what pain is like in the ring. So we're gonna get a match between these two at some point. I just don't know when it's going to be, and I don't have a huge amount more to say about it at the moment. So we will move on to the next match, which I believe is going to be Michin against Kiana James. So we'll see what comes of that. Well, it didn't take long to find out. What was the match, about 5 seconds? Certainly not much more, if at all. So Kiana James is pinned after a quick roll-up by Michin, and Michin is therefore going to get a title opportunity against Julia. So that will be interesting. I'll look forward to that. Hopefully it will be a good match. Nice to see Michin in the limelight a little bit. The most impressive thing I'd say Kiana James did was when she looked disgusted about touching the hand of one of the members of the crowd. We then had a little assault, mainly by Julia, after the match finished, to say, this is what you've got to deal with. So, we'll see when that match is going to be. As I said, I'm looking forward to it. Drew McIntyre comes out to quite a big pop, actually, which shows how popular he is even when he is a heel. Anyway, he comes down, makes me laugh a few times with comments like, is Randy Orton hiding under there? And it doesn't take long before he says, right, Randy, they all want to hear your music and they all want to sing, so get out here. Orton comes out. It does take quite a while for the entrance. Drew says, well, wasn't that special? Or something along those lines. Either way, it was pretty funny. Now, I thought it was a really good segment, actually, from both men, where they talked about the reason why Orton might have attacked McIntyre, and McIntyre attempts to get even this week. He fails. Orton does get the better of him once again, but isn't able to deliver the final RKO because McIntyre is able to escape. So definitely not the last we've seen of these two and their rivalry. But again, what role is Cody Rhodes going to play, and what role is the WWE Championship likely to play? I don't know when we'll get the answer, but I'm looking forward to finding out. Returning to backstage, we have Carmelo Hayes and The Miz talking about their championship match. Carmelo says, I can't have you stealing the win. Again, Miz says, what are you talking about? We're winning, we're doing great, we're going to be champions. So, I expect there will be something, at least towards the end of the match. What is going to happen, I am yet to find out. I think the match might be up next. If it isn't, I'll discuss it later. But let's see what's to come. At the end of the backstage interviews of both the teams competing in the match, Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy, whoever he is at that particular time, tries to play mind games with them, which is a very Wyatt Six thing to do. Anyway, so we have the match, and I actually really enjoyed this one. It wasn't very long, but I thought some of the moves in it were really good. The moment where we had two splashes off the top turnbuckles, one from each team, I really enjoyed. Some of the movement from Montez Ford I thought was brilliant. Same with Carmelo Hayes, who I spoke quite highly of a week or two ago. So that was quite an enjoyable match, and I didn't expect it to end the way that it did. With the Wyatt Six coming out, they ended up distracting Miz. That enabled Montez Ford to get the tag to Angelo Hawkins, and they were able to pick up the win. But I think it also means that Carmelo Hayes and Miz aren't going to stay away from the tag team title picture at this point. So we'll see what comes from the match on Sunday, where the Street Profits will compete for the championship. Two backstage segments. We have Jade Cargill walking in to talk to Tiffany Stratton, confirming that she's the number one contender and she's going to get another title shot, which I'm a little disappointed with because I'm not her biggest fan. Tiffy, I think, outshines her when it comes to the trash talk. I feel she always does, but the way it ended with Tiffy looking shocked, they were trying to give Jade the win at that particular point. But we are going to see another match between them. We'll see what happens when it comes. It's obviously not happening this Sunday, but I don't think it will be too far away. Secondly, it's Solo Sikoa talking to his MFT, saying, Zayn thinks he's got a chance. He's not walking onto our show and he's not taking this title. I'm going to be in 1, 2, 3. not really any more I can say on that. So the match is likely to be next. I will be back with my thoughts after that. Well, I almost got that entirely wrong. I say almost. I will give myself a little bit of credit because I knew that Jimmy and Jacob Fatu would come in and get involved at one point, but I did not expect that it would just happen outside the ring, then we'd actually get a match inside it. And I definitely didn't expect that we would be crowning a new United States champion. So the match itself I quite enjoyed. I thought it started off quite slowly and believed that that was probably just because the match wasn't the important thing, it would be a big brawl. But as I said, I got it wrong. We did get a little brawl, but they got to continue with the match and there were some really good moves in there. I thought they showed the speed and strength of both men really quite well, and it was just an enjoyable match, won in the end by a couple of hell of a kicks by Sami Zayn. So where does this go from here? Well, I expect Solo's going to be wanting to get it back, and there's also Jacob Fatu still around. Anything could happen. I don't know what they've got in mind, but certainly a big twist in the tale this evening, as far as I'm concerned. So that's it for this week's SmackDown. I thought it was a good episode prior to Clash in Paris, though I feel what a lot of it was about was showcasing some of the talent who aren't actually going to appear at Clash in Paris, but we did get a new #1 contender for the WWE Tag Team titles. So a more enjoyable episode than last week, I thought, and I covered most of it. I think the only bit I didn't really talk about was the whiskey advertising involving Randy Orton and R-Truth. So I can talk about that a bit more if you want, but there's not a huge amount to say. It's advertising whiskey. So anyway, that's it for this particular review. Do look out for my predictions for Clash in Paris. That's a video I'm going to be releasing, and then I will look to give my thoughts on Clash in Paris. So hope that you all enjoy that show when it comes. I'm certainly looking forward to it, and I will be back with a new video relatively soon. Thanks a lot for watching, and thank you very much to Leon France for hosting this evening.